This is what I'm gonna be doing for quite a while. Come join. I'm gonna give away one of my secrets, but it's okay. Only the people who watch will know. Yeah, hold it, and there's your green beans. All right, y'all. I have had a request, which I love, for a canning video. And I just think it's completely awesome. And I love like that people like want me to show that, because you know, I've just recently, within the last 3 years, have started canning myself, and it was very intimidating at first, but now I really enjoy it. So I'm happy to share that with whoever would like to watch. And if y'all ever have any recommendations or anything you want to see, just let me know. So we are here. I'm gonna start the first process, and that's picking the beans that are ready to be picked. So we just pick them off, and then I'm gonna put these in a bucket, and then we'll do we'll break them and string them. Let's go. Well, got about a half of a 5-gallon bucket full in just my first half of the row, just like this side. Now I'm gonna come over here and pick down this side. This year we decided, which I think y'all know I showed you earlier, but there's woven wire through here, so the beans kind of grew up it. And I will say they are a little bit easier to pick. I mean, you do have to weed through some, but yeah, see, those I will leave till my next picking. I probably could have left that one, but yeah, we'll let those get a little bit bigger. Alrighty. I'm a mess. And you know, it's been a good day when you showered like first thing this morning, and it's not even, I don't know what time it is, I don't think it's 2 o'clock yet, and you're already stinking again. So yeah, it's been a good day. But I have picked a whole 5-gallon bucket full, and I could probably pick some more, but Dakota said he would pick some more in the morning, because I have picked to my little heart's content. And this will, you know, it's kind of nice when you can do them in runs and sections and not like have so many at one time. It's a little overwhelming, or in my experience it is. So now we break them and string them. All right, I was gonna do this outside, but little man is taking a nap, so I have moved it inside. But so we have our green bean, and you're gonna break both ends off. And these are blue lake, I think, so they don't have a whole lot of string. But anyway, so you break both ends off, and then you're just gonna break them in like your green bean sections. So whatever feels right. So this one didn't have any strings, but feel like that. Toss it in your clean pot, which I do all of this and then I wash them. Maybe I should wash them before I do this, but this is what I've always done and it's worked. So this is what I'm gonna be doing for quite a while. Come join. I have a little bug that has come to join. Alright, like I said, most of ours don't have strings, but occasionally there will be one. So like when you break it, it'll do this, and then you just pull it all the way down. Throw it away. That's all you do. Oh, sometimes there's one on the other side too. But these blue lakes don't really have a whole lot of strings, which is nice. All right, back to it. Good morning. I had high hopes that I would get this, or at least one run done yesterday, but I didn't. So anyways, I have washed and prepped some jars. You want to wash and sanitize your jars. Sometimes I will run them through the sanitize cycle on my dishwasher. But you know, washing them good with some Dawn and hot water usually works fine for me. I'm sorry if anybody out there is like cringing, but that has worked fine for me. Now I'm going to pack my jars as tight as I can with the beans. So I'll show you that process. So one thing I forgot to mention too is you have to wash your beans. It's a little chaotic here today. We've got a lot to accomplish. But anyways, that's why my mind's a little not where it should be, I guess. Anyways, yes, you want to wash your beans and just rinse them till the water's clear. Usually the beans, in my experience, aren't too dirty. I mean, sometimes they'll have some stuff. You just kind of have to look them over, but just get them clean and then you're ready to pack them in your jar. And you want to pack them as tight as you can. I usually like tap it a few times on my counter and then also like take my hand and like push them down. You don't want to smash them, but you know, just push them down and give you that little bit of extra room. And you want to pack them with 1 inch of headspace. So I always just pretty much pack to this right here because that leaves your thing. So, okay, gotta get going. All right, I've actually got to wash a few more beans. I'm only washing enough right now to do my 7 quarts because that's how many quarts my canner holds at a time. That's one run. So I'm only doing that, and then like as I, you know, do it, I'll do another one. Last time when I canned, I had 9 quarts. This time I have quite a few more green beans than I did then. I'm thinking this time I'm probably going to have around 11, 12-ish. We'll see. I'm going to take bets. And I was also going to mention, like in a canning book and stuff or whatever, a lot of people have like the little funnel that sits on top. And if you want to use that, that's fine. But for the green beans and stuff and mostly everything I've canned thus far, just use my good old hands. And I lose some here and there, but I just, you know, funnel them in there as you've seen. But, all right, I'll wash some more. All right, so now that you've got your beans packed in your jar, it's time to season. I'm gonna give away one of my secrets, but it's okay. Only the people who watch will know. So anyways, the first year I canned, I did some with just plain table salt and then some with like a seasoned salt that I have, and like just to see what we liked, and we liked both of them. And it wasn't like a whole big difference. So, but when I'm cooking, like it used to, like when I'd buy green beans in the store and I would cook them, I would add this seasoned salt. So that's why I thought, oh, I'll just go ahead and add it in this process. But so this year, and like last year I did the same thing. I did some in seasoned and some in regular. But this year I decided, I'm going to do half table salt, half of my seasoned salt. Table salt, yeah. So, but it's not technically seasoned salt, but it tastes like seasoned salt, I think. But this is what I use. It's from the Dollar General. That's the only place I can find it. My mom and my Nana, like this was like the secret ingredient in their green beans way back in the day. But Dollar General is the only place I can find this. So I pray that they keep making it. But it's just called soul food seasoning. But it's pretty much just like a seasoned salt. So I add a half of teaspoon, not tablespoon. Yeah, it's a teaspoon. Half. Yeah, this is what I use. I was thinking tablespoon, but no, I'm pretty sure it's a teaspoon. Let me check. Okay, my mind did not fail me. I was correct. If you're doing pint jars of green beans, you just use 1/2 teaspoon per jar. But for a quart, use a whole teaspoon for a jar. So that's why I do half of the regular salt and half of the soul seasoning. So let's go. All right, so that's done. I also wanted to mention my salt is like the pink Himalayan salt. It doesn't really matter. I had ended up getting that last time because I had the hardest time finding salt, just like the regular Morton salt. So I ended up with pink Himalayan, but I like it just fine. Dakota says it's different. It's so different. So now that we have our seasonings in there, now we are going to put hot or boiling water in the jars. And this is probably another little thing that people will be like, you're not doing it correctly, but it's worked for me. So we're just gonna keep going with it. We have well water here at the house. That's what we drink. That's what we use. So, and our water gets super hot. I told Dakota that when Stetson's big enough to like wash his hands himself, we've got to cut it back because it gets super hot. So, with that being said, I turn on my water and let it get really, really, really hot. And I fill each jar up with water till right here. Okay, now in the canning book, if you have a ball canning book, it tells you like to take a knife and get like the air bubbles out and stuff. But I've always noticed there's really no, air bubbles. You could also, which I tried to push it down, but you could also, if you notice you have like a little room down here, you can like push and finagle and see if you could add a few more in there if you wanted to. But yeah, there's the water and you can see, don't want to pour it, but the water level is right there on that line. So then now with your flats, this is a flat, so the top that goes on the mason jar, to seal it, and then your rings. But anyways, don't quote me, and I'm pretty sure, used to, like on flats, you were supposed to boil them and then put them on. But now I don't think you're supposed to boil them, like something with the seal or whatnot. If you still do, that's perfectly fine. But what I do is I run them under some of that, hot water again. And, then I just put them on the jar, and knock on wood, I've not had any issues with anything sealing or staying sealed. So that has worked for me. So you do what you want to do. That's what I do. So I do that. And then also before you put the flats, you want to take a paper towel. I was going to get it, but you want to take a paper towel and you want to wipe this rim to make sure there's like no water or seasonings or just anything on that. So you want to wipe all those off before you have your hot flats to put on. So let me show you. This is how this works. So this is jar flat and it has that sealant ring. So then it goes like this. And then when you put the ring on, which holds the flat, you don't want to like really tighten it down. You just want to do it like, just like tight enough to hold, but don't like crank it down, you know. So like, okay, so I'm putting it on there. It's like once it starts getting tight, then just twist it just a little bit to keep that pressure, but not be too tight. All right, so got them. Now we're ready to move to the canner. Righty, I have got stuff everywhere, but I wanted to show you my canner. So this is my canner. Mine is like the digital with the little weight. I think the older style canners, they actually have like a certain poundage of weight that you put on. I've not used one of those. This is the only one I have used. But yeah, so mine has this, digital gauge here, and that's what shows your poundage of pressure. So, and then like the inside just looks like this. This is removable. So I've never taken, like, it, but that stays in there to kind of take it up off the bottom of the pot a little bit. So I'm trying to think anything else. I want to make sure I've got it the right way because these things are a little finicky. One year, I don't know if you can hear me. I think I've got it backwards. The lid only fits on the pot a certain way. And one year I was getting so frustrated. Yeah, that's the right way. And I could not figure it out. So yeah, I had like, say the pot is like supposed to be this way. I had it this way and was trying to put the lid on the right way. And it won't work that way. It only goes on one way. So, all right, I'm gonna get up the jars in here and we'll get going. All right, so now I have my 7 babies in there. They do now also make a double-decker canner, so you could do 14 quarts at a time. And I think that might be something that I invest in because that would make life a little bit easier, like when you've got all these green beans, but you can only do 7 at a time and you have to do like 3 or 4 batches, to whereas if you have the double-decker one, you could just do a couple. So anyways, okay, so I've got those in there. Now I'm going to take some warm water and pour on the side. I'll show you, but you want it to come up on the jars like about 2 to 3 inches. Alrighty, so you can kind of see the water level. It's kind of hard to see, but anyways, just about 2 to 3 inches up on your jar. On that, it makes it look like a lot taller than it is. But alrighty, let's put the lid on. You want to make sure it locks in place. Okay, like I said, you want to make sure it locks in place. Now I have everything ready to go. I'm going to turn my eye on. Mine goes up to 6 or high, but I usually do about between 5 and 6. So, and you're just going to let it get real warm. And let me see if I can move this. And if you can't see it, let me twist it just a tad. And this where like our weighted gauge goes on. This is going, and I will show you this, but it's going to start, like once it gets so hot, it will start shooting steam out of this that looks like, you know, a locomotive train. And you want to let it shoot that really strong string of steam for 10 minutes. So always, you know, let it get going, and then set my timer for 10 minutes. And then once after that's done that for 10 minutes, then that's when you put your gauge on, and then you will let it come up to 11 pounds of pressure. And we cook at 11 pounds of pressure for 25 minutes. And I've always done the 11 pounds of pressure. I think sometimes it's 10. I'll have to look at my book. I just don't have to do that because of my elevation. So sometimes with elevation, it's a little bit different depending on where you are. So, all right. So now we just wait. Goodness. Actually, I told you wrong. I was looking at my book. I do, and I know this. I do 12 pounds of pressure for my elevation. If you're like 1,000 feet or less, you use in elevation, or at sea level, you let it come to 10 pounds of pressure. And then like above that, like 1,000 to 2,000 is 11 pounds of pressure. And then 2,000 to 4,000, it's 12 pounds of pressure. And that's what I do. So yeah, I let it come to 12 pounds of pressure. All right, so this is the steam I was talking about wanting to get for 10 minutes. It's hard to get it on video. There you can kind of see it. But you want it to steam like that. You want it to cook like that for 10 minutes. Okay, so it's been 10 minutes, so now we're going to put our weight on and let her come to pressure. Which she's going to come to a little bit of pressure because this kind of seals, so. Anyways, we'll wait again. And just as a little tip, so like when I was, you know, letting my canner shoot the steam, for 10 minutes, I have it on really high heat. So once I put the weight on it, I do turn it down to about medium. And then I'll adjust as it goes, because if I leave it at like, you know, 5 or 6 on high heat, when it comes to pressure, it's going to be hard to make sure you don't like go way over your pound of pressure that you're supposed to have. And it's okay if you go over a little bit, but you want to keep it, you know, within like a pound or 2. But I will say at any point in time, well, my phone's full, it cut me off, but what I will say at any point in time, if you've got it to the pressure that you're supposed to have, so if I've got it to 12 pounds, at no point in the process do you want it going below 12 pounds, because then you have to start all over again. So make sure you're at 12 or just a little bit above, never go below. All right, so we are to 12 pounds of pressure, and we just keep it here for 25 minutes. Okay, so it's come up. I've tried to adjust my temperature down, but it's come up to 13 pounds of pressure, but that's okay. So I've just turned it way down to low, and it should kind of come back down a little bit and maintain, but you want to watch it. But this is what I was talking about, like kind of adjusting your temperature down right after you put your pressure or your little, this thing on. Because you wouldn't want it to like get so high that you couldn't kind of control it a little bit. So yeah, where I've adjusted the temperature, you can start to see that 13 lining. My phone's at max capacity. I had to delete a few things, but it is starting to come back down. So I just want to watch it to make sure that it's not going to go down too far, but kind of maintain right there. Canning is kind of a hands-on, very involved thing. So, but all right, we'll see. So thankfully it stayed right at 12 after I did that little adjustment. So it's been 25 minutes. Turned off the heat, and I'm gonna gently move it off the eye, and you're just gonna let it naturally release all the way. So you just let it sit here and come down all the way to 0, and then you can open it up and get your cans out. Okay, so here's the end process. Congratulations. If you're watching this when you can, you have successfully canned your first round of green beans, if that's what you're canning. Anyways, I have let these set overnight, come back down to pressure, so it's at 0. So it's not too terribly hot, but take your weight off, and then twist your lid off. This used to be the part that always made me so nervous. I was afraid it's going to blow off, but it's not happened so far. So I'm thankful. So here's all of our canned babies, and they all sealed. Yay. And this is the one gadget that I do recommend you get. I don't really use, hold on. Sorry about that, my wild youngin' this morning. But this is the gadget I do recommend you get, because even though, these aren't too bad, but even though they've set overnight, they still are pretty hot. So, let's switch. Sorry for the hand. Here you go. Get you a better view. So then you just get in there, and you lift it around the lid, and you hold it, and there's your green beans. And then I just like to set them on a towel or a cutting board. Because like I said, they are still pretty hot. Just set all of these out here. So I was calculating this morning, this brings my canning total for this year of green beans to 23 quarts. So I'm very thankful. I usually only can like 14 or maybe 20, in the 20 range, but so, and I'll still probably have a few more to do after, because when I was picking, I still left quite a few. Hold on one second, baby. All right, what I was saying is I'm thankful. I will probably have another, it probably won't be as big as this run, but another small run. So I'm excited. Like this year, I'm at the point where I'm like, I just want to see how many I can. And I told Dakota, I'm like, hopefully we won't be buying any green beans from the grocery store this year. So, now, I mean, we still have green beans left over from last year, because I don't know about y'all, but I kind of like, not that I hoard them, but I always save them for like special occasions and stuff. And normally I would never use these for like a casserole or something, because I feel like if I'm eating them, I just want to eat like green beans, you know, because I've worked hard on these. But yeah, so I'm just excited. So I hope you enjoy this. I hope you learned something. I hope it's helpful in some way. I really hope that, because that's why I wanted to do it. But if you have any questions, and I have this handy dandy ball canning book. So if you ever have any questions, this is like my canning Bible I kind of go to. Has tons of, if you don't have one of these, it's good. It has tons of recipes, and then it also, you know, the process, the altitude levels, like the whole 9 yards. So, but if you have any questions, just comment below. If you have me on social media, on Instagram or TikTok. TikTok's kind of hard, you can't really send messages. So, but like on Instagram, just send me a message. Facebook, send me a message, and I'd be happy to help. So, all right. Well, that's that. I'll see you next time.